torque series here. How good is that?
It's really not bad. There's a little bit there, but and that's just in drive. It's actually pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's say you've moved house and you've only got one garage. If you could only have one car, say goodbye to your track car, say goodbye to the convertible for the weekend, you need one car for the whole family. Something that's safe, economical, comfortable, reliable, and yet you can still take it to the track and have a great time. Could this be the car? Today we're going to find out. Now I know Hyundai reasonably well. I've been driving this car all week. Mark's not so much an expert on Hyundai. If you want to talk Ferrari or Aston Martin, he's your man. Will this satisfy your needs for a proper sports car?
Let's find out, Stu.
So welcome aboard, Mark. It's taken about 2 minutes and you're starting to feel comfortable.
Already sort of, where's all the boy racer buttons?
So there we are. We've got the usual thing with normal, eco and sport modes, but I can customize it just for you because I know what you like. So if I come here, I take this little dial and one by one we're going to go through these settings. Engine, most responsive, suspension, firmness settings, steering. I know you like firm steering.
Yep, definitely.
So firmness. ESC, we won't go. Do you want to
leave it on for the moment.
Okay, so we'll go to our second setting, intermediate. Exhaust sound, maximum boy racer, or do you want to turn it?
We'll go maximum boy racer. I like that.
Now the slippery diff, this is really good. It's an electronically controlled limited slip diff. On a softer setting, you'll find you'll have easy turn into a corner, but you could get some wheel spin on the way out. On the tighter setting, it'll be harder to turn in. You feel the resistance to the LSD. I know this is second nature to you, but you'll get much better grip past the apex. And I think for a front-wheel drive car, it'll really surprise you. Transmission, firmest change as possible. That's it. That's your setting. Now, if you want to get to that setting, just push that on the right-hand side twice.
Twice.
And away we go. So now it's on your boy racer mode.
Perfect.
So you like the exhaust note in this car?
Yeah, I do. I like, I don't like that annoying sound you get in virtually any small AMG Benz these days.
Oh, that. Did you know it's got a push to pass function? They call it NGS, which is in-car grin shift.
Grin shift.
Silly name.
Yeah.
If you're cruising along and you suddenly need to take off, you just hit, it's that little button there, one of the 14 buttons on your steering wheel. It'll punch down a few gears, it'll get the revs up, it'll harden up the shifts.
That's really cool.
Like the shift lights?
I like that. Yeah, the shift lights are good.
They're much better than on your silly Ferrari 458, aren't they?
They are.
And you can tune where they come in. You can actually adjust the point at which they come on.
No, they're really good.
Good.
I can imagine shooting through the tunnel at Monaco in the dark with that. It was nearly like that, wasn't it? Not quite. What diff set are we on there now, Stu?
There. Oh, we've turned the diff soft. Yeah. So we tighten the diff up again?
Yeah, let's tighten the diff up and let's just see what that does up here because I really want to get a little bit of a handle on that. Tell you what, there's just zero wheel spin, isn't there? Just turns in superbly. It gives you that old feeling of a lock diff.
Yep.
It does have that little tendency to still want to keep turning as you've exited the corner and you need to straighten the steering wheel up. But I tell you what, that's just superb, isn't it?
You were generating just on 1G of lateral grip there. Oh, that bump mid-corner didn't upset it. Right on the apex.
Just turns in beautifully. I mean, there's zero wheel spin there. But you can feel as you... it just wants to walk across the road a little bit on exit.
Hardly surprising.
Hardly surprising, but that's sensational, isn't it? I mean, really the way the car handled that was beautiful.
Yeah. you want to
soften that up a little bit? Yeah.
Steering still stiff?
Let's just see what the diff does.
Okay. Turn in a bit easier. A bit more wheel spin.
You can feel the wheel spin there, can't you? So on that softer setting, you've definitely got wheel spin there, whereas we didn't have that before. The steering is lighter on turn in, and you can feel that wheel spin.
Yep.
Noticeable difference, and that's one of the things I think is great, and I'm learning about this car as we go through today, Stuart. You change something with the setting that it actually works, you can feel the difference. Well, that was pretty bumpy there, and it's putting the power down nicely. It wasn't losing traction through the front wheels, through that drive there, and we noticed that we've still got stability control on us on a really high level, and that didn't kick in at all, and the light wasn't coming on. I didn't feel it intervening, so it's a really clever system that it's got in this vehicle. Once you've gone up onto your custom modes, you can still leave that stability control in as an insurance factor in case you really do stuff it up. I was driving the car fairly hard then. It wasn't intervening at all, and I like the way that's tuned. That's superb.
Honest, other cars haven't done as good a job as this car.
Well, they haven't. You know, we drove the Ferrari through here. Look, I wouldn't have committed in the Ferrari the way I committed in this.
You're talking about the 360?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when we drove the Yaris GR? It was similar to this, 200 kilowatt and a bit lighter. Went really well with that manual box, but the seating position wasn't any good. Remember how high it was?
Yeah, it was, that's right.
How do you like the ergonomics of the seating position is?
It's okay.
I think it's more than okay. I've been driving it a bit. They deleted all the electrics in the seat, so it's just a simple manual adjustment, lightweight bucket.
I kind of like that with a performance car, bit of old style manual seat.
Trouble is they put that weight back on with the 8-speed dual clutch transmission we've got. That added almost 40 kilos back onto the car again. Now, as you know, when this car first came out in 2017, 2018, only a manual. This is the 2021 model, and they've released it with an 8-speed DCT dual clutch transmission.
I love my manuals. I've got 3 manual cars. It's a big toss-up between getting a dual clutch auto or a manual, because they are so good.
It's got to be better than just pretty good.
Well, I've been left foot braking since I got in the car today. I don't think I've used my right foot on the brake once. And for me, it just gives you that opportunity to brake slightly later and just be able to control that weight transfer into the corner a little more appropriately.
Firstly, this new model is faster than the old i30N. Increased power and torque, not a lot more power, just 4 kilowatts, 206 kilowatt, but the torque's up and it's much broader range, so almost 400 newton meters all the way up. So it actually pulls much harder in the manual. It's gone from 6.5 seconds down to 5.9.
Yeah.
But with the DCT gearbox, 5.4. This is worth a full extra half second.
Wow. Okay.
Faster changes and, more importantly, shorter ratios.
8 instead of 6, right?
Yep. And that's why we're looking at automatics today, because if you're going to get one car to service the whole family, it's probably got to be an automatic. It's 0 to 200 k's an hour in less than 20 seconds. That is faster than a Porsche 928 GTS.
But that was 30 years ago.
But it was a 5.4 litre V8, and it was the fastest car in Australia for 15 years.
It just shows you how cars have evolved, doesn't it?
And this is quicker.
Yeah.
So let's look at the competition. In this range, there are a bunch of cars that are almost identical in spec. Renault Megane RS, Ford Focus ST, Honda Civic Type R, it's probably a little more hardcore. But the key one is, of course, the Volkswagen Golf GTI, which is now in its 8th generation, is really the benchmark car. Yeah. And that's the car that they obviously targeted with this. All between 200 to 220 kilowatts. The Golf a little bit less, but it is lighter.
Yeah.
And they're all plus or minus half a second 0 to 100. The Honda Civic Type R is a little bit more boy racer, it's 4.9. But this car, 5.4 seconds. Fast. They're all about the same weight. They're all about the same dimensions, and they're all 4 doors.
Yeah, right.
And you can put the whole family in. Now, the Golf only comes in automatic. The Civic, I think, only comes in manual. The Renault Megane, automatic or manual. The Ford Focus ST, automatic or manual. Now, last weekend I was instructing in a Golf DSG race car. A fantastic car, really good. So that's fresh in my mind. I got straight out of that. Next day I got this, and I've been playing, and it's really comparable. Dear oh me.
You'd never get tired of that, would you?
Yeah, some people might.
I wouldn't.
I was at the launch of the original i30. I was part of the drive team when it came out in Australia, and I was immediately struck by how the styling. They'd obviously looked at the Golf and the Corolla and said, those are the benchmark cars, those are the sales we want to pilfer. And to do that, they'd got people like Peter Schreier, who was a German engineer. Hyundai Group had headhunted him 10 years earlier, and he'd gone off, and he's responsible for largely the more elegant look that you get in particularly Kia and Hyundai vehicles. And even when they released this, I was really impressed by it. But straight away they were talking, oh, we're going to release an N version. And I thought, what's that? N for Nürburgring? And they said, no, it's N for Nanyang, but it's a deliberate ambiguity. And they tested the car there and at Nürburgring. And they did. They released in 2018 the i30N, which was an instant hit, bit of a cult classic. So here's the latest version 4 years later, because they said, we don't know what we don't know about Western tastes and performance cars. How will we find out? Let's go and get the best talent we can. So who did they pinch? Albert Biermann at BMW for 30 years, head of the M division.
So
and they also got
promotion from the M division to the N division, has it?
Exactly.
Got it.
Biermann rightly said that the problem with track day cars is that after a hard day they're running out of brakes and
yeah, they're going into limbo. Transmissions are getting hot.
Yeah. They didn't want to build a conceited attempt at a performance car. They took it seriously. So, but
it's great marketing, isn't it?
And they also got Luc Donkervonkel, which is a fabulous name. He's a Belgian engineer. He designed my Skoda Octavia, and he also designed the Lamborghini Gallardo and Murcielago. So imagine how much they paid to get him to go to South Korea.
Be serious, I would have thought.
Yeah. That was a bit of a long waffle, wasn't it?
Probably was. That was, yeah.
You notice on the dash tyre pressure monitoring system? So heaps of menus there to roll through. We don't need to go through them all.
Attention level high. I don't need a coffee yet.
You're safe.
Yep.
Suspension is Firmness. Let's Sport Plus. That's for the track. You can feel how rough this is.
Yeah, the road's pretty choppy.
Back it off a touch.
Back it off a little bit.
You'll find
do all these things work, Stu? I mean, one thing I get sick of cars these days is with every gadget under the sun, you make all of these adjustments and they make no difference. I'm interested to see. I hope they do. But making that change just then from suspension from firm to the midpoint, you can feel that.
Yep.
It's definitely, you can definitely feel it.
Oh.
Let's try it.
There we go.
Custom. So that's a pretty bumpy piece of road there, isn't it? And actually it's handling that really nicely. Very little torque steer. Honestly, I think you'd put a lot of people behind the wheel of this car, and if you asked them, is this a front-wheel drive or an all-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive, most people wouldn't even be able to tell the difference. That's how good these front-wheel drive cars are these days, isn't it?
It's only at really low speed when you're taking off and you get that little bit of axle tramp.
I haven't felt that, but I know that is a little bit of an issue with these cars.
That was great. That potholes there that we just rode through.
I deliberately drove through some potholes there, and it's you couldn't feel that in the steering at all. The dampening really sorted that out. You usually expect to get a little bit of this going on in the steering wheel on that sort of road.
Yeah.
On these settings.
Yep.
But it handled that really well.
Yeah. I do like the layout as well. Aircon stuff here, entertainment here, so much customization. You could not have a screen. There's so much to fiddle with. You couldn't do it all on stalks and buttons.
Yeah. And I'm generally not a big fan, as you know, of the glued-on iPad thing sitting in the middle of the dash, but this is quite well integrated. I do like the shift lights, Stu.
Yeah. They're good, aren't they?
Brakes.
Sheesh. Does that stop?
That's pretty good brakes too, isn't it?
360mm at the front.
They're big rotors, aren't they, for a little car?
That really stopped.
Yeah, I mean, you could really feel...
You sent everything flying then.
They've built these for track days, and you want to be able to complete a track day without having total brake fade after 8 laps, and I think these would have handled it really well.
Fast changes, aren't they?
I really like the feel of the brake pedal. That's a really nice firm pedal. It's an intuitive transmission just in drive. It shifts at all the right points.
Did you go
down there.
It went down there? And again?
It's just shifting down nice. Nice little dip on the throttle. That's just in drive, so it's doing it all itself.
Yeah. See how the torque steer is here? How good is that?
It's really not bad. There's a little bit there, and that's just in drive. It's actually pretty good, isn't it?
Yeah, pretty good.
Very clever. When you think of the early front-wheel drive cars with limited slip diffs, and I raced a few front-wheel drive cars many years ago, little Suzuki GTIs at Bathurst, 12-hour races and so on, and they don't run a limited slip diff or a lock diff, in fact. And the thing was almost impossible to drive through a corner. There's a really particular way of driving it, like a Mini Cooper S, something like that. You really needed to get the technique right. These days you just jump in and drive normally.
Here's our crest. Oy, jeez.
That's fun, isn't it? It really does feel good, doesn't it? I mean, it's committed and it feels really well balanced. And it gives you confidence. It feels like it has no nasty habits. Like you're committed on the throttle and through a corner with a lot of throttle on. If you need to adjust the throttle, you feel the back is really stable.
I mean, it grips like a limpet, but you can actually position the car, get it to turn in by lifting off, and it'll point the front a bit better.
So yeah, you can throttle steer the car through the corner. And that's what you want with a front-wheel drive car. You want to be able to do that and adjust that weight transfer. The thing always has been on a track in a front-wheel drive car, you're fighting understeer, aren't you? But if you can adjust the throttle, get the back to move a little, and rotate the car, that's what you want.
Now, as you'd expect, in the interior, a few hard plastics, but
yeah,
it's nice though. It's real buttons everywhere. Heated seats, don't really need those in Australia.
Well, where I live I do, but heated steering wheel, probably don't need that.
No, but cooled seats would be nice, but you've got to get the i30N sedan for those.
You can see why Hyundai have really built the car the way they've built it. It's a superb driver's car. It's so tunable. It's a fairly heavy car, as we've spoken about, but it feels light on the road. And these tight, twisty roads we're on here today, I mean, people who say they don't like front-wheel drive, that's when you want a front-wheel drive car. Those corners that we're on there now, that diff is doing so much work. You can commit on the throttle. The back of the car feels so secure. It doesn't understeer at all, and that's impressive, really, because you expect with a car with this much power putting it through the front wheels on these tight corners. I'm getting on the gas pretty hard, and it's just tracking around the corner beautifully. There's no understeer whatsoever.
Am I right? Am I hearing that Mr. Porsche, Mr. Rear-wheel drive, is suddenly extolling the benefits of a front-wheel drive car?
Yeah, I like front-wheel drive cars. I think they're clever. A lot of them in the past have been disappointing, but there's so much technology, particularly with the diffs, and I'm glad we've been able to test that today and point out what the diff does and how it works, because for me that's the critical aspect of a front-wheel drive car, getting the diff going. Now I know what everyone's been talking about. I've been hearing about these cars for a while.
Would you buy one?
I really like the car. There's a lot of things I like about it. It's a real driver's car. I like the fact that all the gadgets work, all the parameters add value to the driving experience. The dynamics are good. You can really commit on a corner. The handling is superb. Brakes are very, very good. And what's not to like with the warranty and the particularly the track warranty. Those are the features I like. Would I buy one? Yeah, I would buy one. What don't you like about the car, Stu?
I guess the only thing is $53,000, this price, thereabouts. What's not to like? Let me pull out my list of things I hate about this car. Oh, there's nothing. It's a bit thirsty, I did notice.
It is a little bit thirsty, isn't it?
Yeah. If you're driving it gently, fine. 6.5, 7 litres per 100k, just cruising around, but twice that if you start to press on. Styling, that's in the eye of the beholder, so totally up to you. Oh, the engine note, it's Swarm of Bees rasp.
Yeah.
So it doesn't sing like a Porsche does, but
no,
hey, it's a 2-litre inline turbo 4. But today we've got the Pirelli P0, which we know is a really good performance car. Of course. But a special Hyundai flavour.
Okay.
Gee, it's quiet now, isn't it? In normal mode.
That's not bad.
On most roads like this, very good, but very different sound on different road surfaces. I found they're actually a little bit noisy, and reputedly they wear very quickly. The most recently released i30 sedan comes with Michelin PS4s, I think, arguably even better. What don't you like about it?
I'll be honest with you, I don't like these seats.
You don't like the seat?
No.
Really?
I don't find it very comfortable. You know, there's no lumbar, so I don't know if that's adjustable.
No,
It isn't, is it?
no. It's.
I would get a sore back in this car after a while.
I actually really like the seat.
So you compare it to the GT4 seats, which are the poverty pack seats, not the carbon.
Oh, now you want to start making comparisons with the Porsche.
Well, just the seats. That's probably about the only thing I don't really like about the car.
Okay. And all the gadgetry, it's kind of fun, isn't it?
It's good, you know.
A little bit awkward using the launch controls. If you don't use launch control, you will struggle with axle tramp, and it'll be a second or so slower, 0 to 100. But you've got to set it up, go in N mode, turn off traction control, sit, wait. It says, yes, I'm ready. It's a bit fussy, so we're not even going to bother with that. Fair enough?
Yep, I agree.
There was I thinking that you were a bit of a brand snob with your Porsche and Ferraris and Aston Martin.
I'm just a bit of a car snob. I need to like the cars. They have to be interesting, and I need to like them. I've loved it.
Styling is in the eye of the beholder, I suppose.
Yeah, look, I like it.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it. I think it looks cool.
And the colour?
The colour's grown on me. I mean, I like the fact that Hyundai's done that. They've come out with their N range and they've put a colour on it. This is the colour. And I have to thank Hyundai as well, of course, for letting us use the car for a week. You've had some time with it. I've had some time in it today.
Yeah.
And we really do appreciate that. And they've got the confidence in letting people drive their cars on the road and push on, and they know the car is going to come up well. So yeah, Hyundai, thank you very much.
So that's our review of the i30N Premium Sunroof DCT 8-speed. To my surprise, Mark actually really enjoyed it. The more he drove it, the more Boy Racer came out, and the harder he drove the car, the more it responded. For me though, the more I drive the car, the slower I like to drive. I'm just enjoying it. I'm not in snap, crackle and pop mode. I'm just chilling, and it's just a really nice car. Surprised he didn't like the seats. I actually think the seats are great. As he was flinging it around those bends, I was gripped really well. As far as the score goes, if you look, it scored well in every category. It's probably only presentation that let it down a little bit, but performance, personality, price is still good, even though it's expensive. Practicality, it's all there. Just a great car. Hope you enjoyed the review today, and look forward to something else next week. Thanks for watching. Bye. Oh hey, you made it right through to the end of the video. Congratulations. Thank you for watching. If you like what you see, please share it with your motoring friends, and above all, click the little subscribe thing down here so you can see the latest videos when we bring them out, hopefully each week. I look forward to seeing you soon.